President Muhammadu Buhari's administration has over time been accused of apportioning blames to individuals for unflattering circumstances in the country. It seems nothing has changed, as the president had on Tuesday, the 17th of February 2021, blamed people of influence and resource for being responsible for the current waves of kidnapping, terrorism, banditry and ethnic crisis plaguing the nation. He disclosed this through his spokesperson in a meeting held in Abuja with a delegation of Borno and Yobe Elders Forum, saying, "I am confident that we will eventually convince the small number of people with resource and influence that are a nuisance to this great country. God willing, we will identify them and deal with them. I am extremely concerned about your constituency like the rest of the country." Sometime in 2016, the president reportedly blamed MTN company for the incessant killings and abductions by Boko Haram insurgents, saying several MTN lines remain unregistered. He said this in a joint press conference with the president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma. He claims MTN's slow response to disconnect unregistered lines made it difficult to trace terrorists responsible for killing and kidnapping innocent citizens. There is practically no one this current administration hasn't blamed for its failures, including the country's past leaders. In years past, the president blamed all Nigeria's past leaders since the dispensation of the country's democracy for the near destruction of the country. Although the president did not mention the name of the past leaders, he made reference to persons who ruled the country from 1999 to 2015, questioning how such leaders had the impudence to criticize his administration. Those in the previous government from 1999 to 2015 who presided over the near destruction of the country have now the impudence to attempt to criticize our efforts. This was sequel to criticisms by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who lamented over the worsening insecurity and economic situation of the country. President Muhammadu Buhari had held the People's Democratic Party's 16 years reign responsible for the economic recession in the country, saying the party refused to save for the rainy day. In the First Republic, more enduring infrastructure was built with meager resources, but in the past 16 years, we made a lot of money without planning for the rainy day. While visiting Daura in Katsina State to revalidate his membership of the All Progressive Congress, the president had accused Nigerian elites for harassing his person and his administration despite his performance. He said, "Upon all the money from 1999 to 2014, we gave out money from the center to pay salaries. No, Nigerian elites are not interested in rating the competence, but they are interested in harassing us with all efforts we are making. You who are in the field in charge of your constituencies, you have to make efforts to convince the elite to please give us the due relevance and respect we deserve, that we are working so hard with limited resources." Reacting to the statement, Kola Olobondion, the People's Democratic Party National Publicity Secretary, said President Buhari had moved from blaming PDP to blaming Nigerian elites for the failures of his administration. Buhari is no longer blaming the PDP. He is now blaming the elites. The three things he promised to do for Nigerians, he has also failed. He promised to revive the economy. The economy today is comatose. He promised to fight corruption. Corruption is today worse than ever. During the #EndSARS protests of 2020, in reaction to Amnesty International's report that Nigerian soldiers shot some protesters at the Lekki toll gate on 20th of October 2020, President Buhari had blamed hooliganism during the protests for the loss of 51 civilian lives. In a summit organized by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group and the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, President Buhari, who was represented by Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, blamed the pandemic for the country's economic downturn as the country was slipping into another recession in 5 years. We can all recall that during the lockdown, farming did not take place. Businesses were closed, schools were closed, as well as hotels and restaurants. Also, airlines stopped flying while interstate commerce was disrupted. The economy only began to recover when these activities resumed, and if we're able to sustain the near 3 percentage point increase from the second quarter decline of -6.1%, the performance in the fourth quarter could take us up to positive territory. Over time, elections in Nigeria have been marred by violence, which at times lead to killings or chaos in the country. For that, President Muhammadu Buhari blamed power-hungry politicians for the problems surrounding the electoral process in the country. In a meeting of the National Food Security Council presided over by President Buhari, the president had frowned over the activities of those he called corrupt middlemen, whom he said were responsible for the hike in food prices in the country. But for all these problems, the most worrisome are the activities of corrupt middlemen, with many of them discovered to be foreigners, and other food traders who serve as the link between farmers and consumers found to be systematically creating an artificial scarcity so that they can sell at higher prices. As the clashes between herders and farmers got heated a few years back, the president had blamed the increase in the country's population, rapidly approaching 200 million, for the dispute over land in the central part of the country, also known as Middle Belt. The communal clashes had claimed several lives and properties of Nigerians as they clashed over the practice of open grazing by herders, which destroyed the farm produce of hardworking farmers in the region. President Buhari holds the view, as do many experts, that these conflicts are often more than not as a result of major demographic changes in Nigeria, said an email statement issued by the presidency. While the land size has not changed and will not change, urban sprawl and development have simply reduced land area both for peasant farming and cattle grazing. President Muhammadu Buhari, in a statement by his spokesperson Garba Shehu on the 22nd of January 2021, had blamed the banditry and attacks in the northwest and north-central regions of the country to the rise in mining activities in the regions. It is increasingly looking like all this administration does is look for the next victim to apportion blame to, as it has proven its incompetence to fulfill all campaign promises made time and time again. This has led to the recent calls by some Nigerians and groups for the president's resignation. Amongst the multitude who have called for the resignation of the president are Senator Abaribe Eyinaya, the Northern Elders Forum, and Salihu Tanko, Governor Abdullahi Gandiji's media aide, who was arrested by the DSS and later released. While citizens wait and hope for things to get better under this administration, people can only ask, who will the president blame next?